Hmm. Hey everybody, it's Paul Grossman, the dark arts wizard of test automation. And today I've got something kind of cool to show you. It's an issue that is kind of plagues us in test automation. It really should have been resolved many, many years ago, but unfortunately, it's still kind of haunting us today. And by that, what I am thinking of is let me adjust my screen over here so it's a little bit better. And that's resolutions. It used to be back in the day that we had, back in the early 2000s, as if we're doing test automation, we would have an element on the screen somewhere that we would go and click with their XY resolution. And of course, back then we also had much smaller displays. Um, what we've got an issue today is that there can be blind spots as well as problems with UX design that gives us issues when we're actually trying to automate our tools. And this can be something that more likely pops up in codeless automation tools, but it can also appear in coded tools. So I'm not really going to talk a little bit I'll show about automation, but I want to show you about 3 different things that I did in order to try and identify this issue. So let me switch my screen over here. We're going to go over to, where are we going to go to? We are going to go to, boy, did I close it? Boy, that would be brilliant if I closed it. So let me go over here. We're going to go to candymapper.com over here. So there's Candy Mapper. I'll just pop over there and see if that will bring us up a tab. That would be awesome if it did, because I know we're out there because I just saw it. And yeah, I think here it is. Okay, we got it. We got it. All right, so this is my candymapper.com website. And by the way, if you think this is kind of cool, it's my little side project, and you think that maybe I might be the kind of guy that you might want to hire to be, let's say, a test automation architect or a project manager, I'm available. So this is kind of what I do. I kind of look for bugs and stuff. Or if I can find a bug, I'll try to replicate it in a couple of ways in order to kind of demonstrate what's going on. Now, this is my example over here. This is my Candy Mapper site. And what I want to point out to you is that there is a nice little list of stuff that's over here. There is a list of items, areas that we can go to that are in the application. We go to join us. We can see the British Computer Society and all that stuff. Packed Publishing over here, where I've got my book. If you ever want to pick up a book on test automation with WebDriver IO, that is a very good place to go pick one up. All right, there's some self-serving advertisement for myself. But the point is, I've got these links at the top of the screen out there. These elements, these kind of tabs, and I'm not talking about the tabs of the browser. The tabs in the actual application. You'll notice that there's a drop-down list over here called More. So if I wanted to access these items, like the 2FA validation code, I'd have to go and open up this drop-down over here. Now, this is one of the first things I might mention. Is one of the things to keep an eyeball out for is UX design and some of the problems that we have with UX design. The major problem we have is it doesn't work well in some cases, especially if we are working with smaller screens. Did you notice that over on the left-hand side, look at all of this empty space that GoDaddy has left for us? GoDaddy put this up here, designed it, and they didn't actually test it on larger widescreen monitors. So in a smaller screen, it's going to look perfectly. They won't catch this. But you realize that if I've got this drop down over here, Find My Candy could definitely push all this over and end up in a space over here. Vampira's blog that could have gotten in here. Sandbox Tools could have gotten over here. But here's the one thing, just keep in mind that I always try to emphasize people. If someone tells you UX design is good because it's baked in, that's not good advice. You do have to go and check and see if your actual design of your screen actually looks good. And one of the biggest problems they have is you can go back to a developer and say, well, wait a second, why is this not being displayed? And it's if a developer comes back and says, well, it's just the UX design this way it is, what they're quietly saying is, I don't know how to fix that. Well, who found it? The darn QA guy. All right, okay, yep. Is it going to lose us money at the bottom line? Well, it definitely could. You definitely want to have someone there. And you want to be careful because the QA guy wants to ensure that his job is always successful and is there. And he might point out that if your application, like the actual application Find My Candy, is sitting on the off screen over here, the actual application can't be gotten to, then you might be losing money. All right, so let's take that aside. How do you find this? Now, one of the reasons I decided to do this live stream and show this to everybody is because people noticed that I've got a very, very weird background. Thank you. I got a little alarm. I've got a very strange background, and let me show you what my strange background looks like. This is it. This is my background, and you might notice it's basically I'm broadcasting on a wide screen. It's 2560 by 1080 on the wide screen over here. I do have a smaller one. It's on my monitor, and my monitor on my laptop, I should say, my laptop is actually 1920 by 1080. Basically, this is a little image that I put together myself because I wanted to see what does it look like if we have a browser at these different resolutions, and who wants to go through and try and personalize all of the displays? That's a pain. Why not just have it emulated on your screen? So in order to do this, if you have a very small monitor and you wanted to see what my website looks like, you can adjust the browser and put it into that square. Now, what was the size on this? It's 800 by 400, but it's blocking it when I put it up there. That's why in smaller letters I put in the 800 by 400 with little arrows pointing to what area I'm at. And you can see that nothing is displayed up on the top screen. Everything that you want is going to be one big long drop-down list over here. Did you notice that this is completely different from the list we originally had? Because it was just a drop-down of a list, but now it's a full screen drop-down list in order to get around to what we're trying to find. So this how are you going to automate this if your resolution is at different sizes? Now, if I extend it down a little bit, we can look at 800 by 600. Yeah, that's gives us a little bit more the bottom screen, but still it's not a very large area that you can really get to. But you also want to stay in, within reality. What are people actually going to be using? Over here, I've also got a width of 1024, and still now we've still got this little hamburger message over here, and we're just not being able to handle the tab overflow at that size. Let me go a little bit further over to the right over here. Now at this point you can see there's a little dividing point that right about here is where it says it switches between this. Now, what exactly is this length? It's kind of hard to tell. I don't know exactly what that width is, but certainly if you're going to be working with a default, you definitely want to be working with a default at 1240 by 600 at the very least, or whatever this little alignment here is. Now, is there a way that I could find out exactly what that size is? There might be something inside of Chrome that could tell me exactly what my size is. I just don't know at the moment. And that tells me I want to get a little, I need a tool. I need a utility to maybe tell me what my sizes are. Because I don't know that you guys want to be putting this big ugly thing on your screen to just to test on how your browser looks at different resolutions. However, so one of the things I decided to do was build my own little dynamic ruler for my screen. And I'm going to show you what that looks like right now. We're going to go over to, this is my little app over here. I built it in AutoIt 3. So AutoIt 3 is a tool that's been around for decades. It looks a little bit like BASIC, but it compiles to an executable. And if you go and click on Go, it will actually create an application and runs it for you. And it's kind of cool because this now I can take this and drag it around, and it also has a transparency in it, which is over here. And I can make it fully transparent. I can make it fully opaque. And what's really cool is that on this little window over here, get that, I can drag it down. I can actually see exactly what is the height and the width of my screen that I put. So this is a little ruler. You'll also notice that's a little hard to see here is that I've actually put in the markers of what the resolutions are. This is 600 by 400. That's green. And if you find the 600 by 480, I should say, on the right hand side, if we adjust to that, that should come out to be 640. And let's see if I can get it to that resolution. We're going to go over here to the green bar and bring it over here. You know what's really great is that if I just had little dots in there that said, hey, set that resolution. Let's take a look and see. I'm going to go put it in here. Let's see. That's our green bar. And then we'll get our green bar over here. And in fact, we could just say, 600 by 480, 600 tab 480, and hit the enter key on that. And that should take us directly to that size. All right, we're getting close to it. So it's a little tool that I put together just using AI in order to do it. Let's see, we're looking at 600. There's 606, 603. Maybe I should just have little bars on it in order to tell me what it is. Let me move my browser out of the way, and let's see if we got if we're looking at 6, that's 601 by, and we want it by 480. So if I drag it out to 600 by 480, and we're just looking at where the rulers are, 600 by 480. Let's see if we can get that. That's at 700, 737. So interestingly enough, in testing this, oh man, I should be a better tester. 600 by 480. We definitely want 800. We actually want 800. Why am I talking 600? I'm thinking 800. So let's get it out to 800. There we go. There we go. 801. We're dead on this line right here. Okay, I was a little worried. I hadn't actually built the darn thing correctly. But yeah, that's the way things. This is 445. And if I want to go to, let's say, 480, 450, 465, 490, 480. Let's get it up a few. 799 by 480. Look at that. The ruler matches. Look, it's green here. And that is 800 by 480. And that is 799 by 481. Close enough. 100 by 480. 480. Let's do that. So it's a nice little a little ruler over here that tells me exactly how wide is my screen, and little markers. I could definitely do little things to modify that. So you're asking yourself, Paul, you've been talking here for a while. What does this have to do? What does this have to do with the with AI? Well, I want to show you how I built this little utility. And the way I built it is because I didn't actually go and code it. I actually went and uh, had the AI write it. So if I go over to Visual Studio Code under agents, and by the way, this is a new feature I found in Visual Studio Code. I'm going to go move this guy out of the way. Um, what I have here is a big, long discussion that I had. Oh, don't tell me you lost it. Oh, there we go. Cool. I basically had a big, long discussion saying I want to build this AutoIt tool that has a pixel ruler along the top and left side. That's what I was doing when I first designed it, and I realized that ain't gonna work well, especially if I'm trying to put this in the upper left-hand corner. Then I have to go and kind of subtract from the height and the width of the ruler itself, and that becomes problematic. It occurred to me that I could definitely put it in the lower right-hand corner and then stick this in the upper left-hand corner in order to do this. All right, cool. So I want to get a description of this. Get a Copilot a description is what I want to do. Then prep this to build this application. So I'm just going to go ask it to do that to make the call. So here's our build. Here's all our requirements and the everything that's needed in there to describe it. Boy, look at that. That's pretty short compared to everything I did while I was having a discussion with this thing. And in fact, you can I was also taking screen captures of elements to show, hey, this is what it looks like, but its problem can you figure out, and the calculations and stuff. And it was quite interesting as I was going along, and had to make a decision to change how it works. So I started adding in more and more features as I went through. I'm not spelling it all. I was going pretty fast, not spelling it very well, but height for the top window accuracy. I added change a whole bunch of stuff. And if you want to see this, if you want to go and play with it, it is actually up on my GitHub account. So you can see it over here. This is my GitHub, Dark Arts Wizard, browser resolution ruler, and you too can build one of these as well. Now that's not the only thing we did. We've got two items done over here. One is the background screen resolution. That just was a window that using my little my usual little paint program, which I happen to like. It's Snagit, and Snagit allows you to do fills and all sorts of stuff. You might use something a little bit different, but yeah, this is described and done by Snagit. And then there is one custom resolution in here that I added in that's just not commonly used anymore in the industry. All right, so that's the two things. The background screen I use an AutoIt, but then I thought, well, why don't we go one step further? Let's go one step further, and let's go and build a resolution with this. Well, that's not the button. That's multiverse. That's not the one I want. I want the ruler over here. This is our URL. This is WebSim Dark Arts Wizard ruler. So let me jump over there, and I will drag this up here, and we will go to WebSim. In fact, I think I've got it in my history. That is Windows V. Windows V is really cool for using sorts of stuff. Windows V resolution ruler. There we go. That's the one I want. I will hit that and see what we get. Well, check it out. It doesn't look like a whole bunch. The only thing I couldn't do was the transparency. But essentially, if you look at the bottom, here is our ruler out here. It has the markers again over here indicating what sizes everything is. And I can take this and resize it to what I need. So if I want to make it this resolution over here, let's go see how close this gets. This is saying 800 by 300. Oh, yep, I got to put it actually in here. So if I want to go to 800 by 400 over here and see what my actual resolution would look like, I can put that there, and we can see all our tabs and stuff. And the width on this is claiming to be 735. Well, actually, the screen resolution actually is that 735. Now, if I drag it out to this line over here, we should get 800, 808, where is our 808? 808. And yeah, that line really closely lines up. I bet you I don't have it exactly on the 000 over here. All right, yep, that 800 is lining up directly with that. And then that's saying 278. And what it actually is 480. So let's get this down to 480, which is here, which means my screen would have to be a little bit off the screen here. I'd probably have to go and hide my bookmarks, and I might be able to get it all the way up there. So it turns out I might have to make another resolution adjustment. But this definitely shows us, we could go into, well, it would be full screen. I don't think we want to do that. But yeah, so this was my WebSim Dark Arts Wizard ruler page that I'm using to measure out how big is my screen. So there's two different ways of doing that. So the most important thing out of all of this that I was mentioning was that you want to keep an eye on what your resolution looks like. Our last thing I'll do is I'll bring back up our Candy Mapper website up there. Let's go get that. Here is my Candy Mapper website over here. And as I said, keep in mind what resolution is going to allow your items to be on the screen. And they could be one of three different ways. Here's Keysight over here. If I go and change the resolution of the browser, I can get to it. Oh, this will work fine. So Keysight's up there at this resolution. Keysight's no longer there at this resolution. It's now just a hamburger that comes down here, and you have to get Keysight from that. Is your automation tool going to be able to handle that? Well, the important thing is that your tool should be able to do that just right out of the box. It should have a good default resolution of your browser so that it is close to whatever our modern day is. And this resolution right here, this is my laptop. So keep that in mind. It might keep you, from having challenges in the day, or keep an eyeball on it to anticipate this sort of stuff here. All right. Well, this has been my 24-minute live stream. I hope you guys have enjoyed the kind of the demonstrations I did over here. Again, I am Paul Grossman, the Dark Arts Wizard. I am on LinkedIn, and I am looking for my next job. So please keep me in mind, and see if you know of anything. I'm looking, and if you think you need a guy who's creative like this and just has all sorts of automation stuff, please check it out. Do check out Automation Star. I'm not going to be there, but I am hoping to, if it's online, we'll do some online stuff. I will join in on that. Also, take a look at the Automation Guild, which is coming up in real life, is coming up in Chicago. So definitely check out Joe Colantonio's Automation Guild. We'll put that up there. There is Automation Guild. That's AG25. And I am going to go and take this out. Okay. I want to go to Automation Guild. Automation Guild. Let's go back over here to this. We'll go over to LinkedIn. I'm looking for Automation Guild. Let's jump to there. Paulie probably misspelled the word. All right. How about Joe Colantonio? Joe Colantonio. There, that guy there. You got to follow him and check out his podcasts. And I believe he has the Automation Guild in real time coming. You know what? I'm just going to go and Google that. Let's see. Automation Guild, IRL, Chicago. So, see what we get. Chicago engineers are meeting up again July 16th. So, definitely check it out. The Test Guild, and going to be some really cool things that are going on over here. Please hit it up. It's free. There's only 100 seats. There's 99 left because I already have a seat. But do check it out. Thursday, July 16th, 4:30. It is in Arlington Heights, not far from the city, about a 45-minute drive from the city. Not too far if you're coming in from O'Hare or Midway. Do check it out. I hope to see you if you're in the neighborhood. Please, it's coming in 30 days, 6 hours and 4 minutes. All right, everybody. I want to thank you all for joining me on this little adventure. And I am Paul Grossman, the Dark Arts Wizard of Test Automation. Please let me know. Oh, hey, guess what? I had a couple of messages while I was here. So Matthias says, actually, the good automation must not be displayed. That consumes a lot of time in processing, called headless browser. It's a great exercise. And yes, Matthias is absolutely cool on that. The only thing is that when you're running test cases and you're building them, you definitely can't build them headless because you don't see what's actually going on. So that was more to the point of trying to identify why things are or are not working correctly. So shout out to Matthias over there, who gave us some good stuff. Thank him for joining in and watching the chit chat for just a minute. And that's going to be about it. I will let you guys run. Have yourself a great day. Thanks for joining me this fine Tuesday. Take care and cheers.